Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. There is one other, I think, pretty big piece of news that broke while I was away, outside of the Dan Hurley stuff, which we've talked about on two separate shows. That piece of news, John Calipari has been adamant. We are only likely, realistically, probably going to recruit and sign, probably only recruit and sign 9 players total. And he said, he's like, I could even go as low as late if we have to, but obviously I think he wants to get to 9. Why do I bring it up? Well, DJ Wagner pops on Memorial Day weekend. That gives them 8. And then you're wondering who's going to be number 9. Well, we got official confirmation about a week ago as how about this? Trevon Brazile, who was actually like lights out awesome 2 years ago pre-injury, gets hurt, unfortunately, in the 22-23 season, comes back this year, isn't 100%. He had entered the NBA draft. I thought there was a possibility that he just stayed as he was kind of battling injuries. He decides to return, and in somewhat of a shocking twist, he ends up deciding to stay at Arkansas and play for John Calipari. And so I want to get into it because, one, I actually really like the piece. I think this is quite literally a no downside, high upside move. And also, I think there's a very compelling case that Arkansas might have the best top 9 in college basketball. Now, you can argue, do you need more than 9 to have success? That's a different conversation for a different day. But I think you could argue that Arkansas might have the top 9 in all of college basketball. But I'll tell you what, before we get to that, I do have one quick question. Can anything stop the Big Pig invasion? Did you see what Arkansas put on their Twitter shortly after Trevon Brazile's commitment, announcement, signing, everything? Producer Matt, pop up the tweet. From the official Arkansas Razorback account, POV, you catch the start of the Big Pig invasion. So, listen, Arkansas basketball, we're cool. The Torres brand is strong. By the way, that tweet went up literally within minutes of when Dan Hurley announced officially that he was coming back to UConn. So within like 2 minutes, Dan Hurley's coming back. Arkansas is tweeting Big Pig invasion as if it is their own. And I don't mind it. I don't care. We're cool. I appreciate you, Arkansas. By the way, if you want a Big Pig invasion tee, go to AaronTorresOnline.com. That is where the Big Pig invasion started and where it's going to continue. There's the tee right there. Thank you, producer Matt. Because guess what? I love this pickup for Arkansas. And I think they have a chance to, like I said, I know what Kentucky fans are going to say in the mentions. Oh my God, Cal stinks. I'm just here to tell you that top 9 is as good as anybody's in college basketball. So let's get into Trevon Brazile really quickly and talk big picture here. Because listen, Trevon Brazile is a really good player who, has had kind of just a sad trajectory, okay? Like I said, 2 years ago, that year that Arkansas, many people believe might be the number 1 team in the country. He started out the season and he was arguably their best player. Remember, this was when they had Anthony Black and Nick Smith was kind of in and out of the lineup. But Trevon Brazile averaged 11.5 points per game, 6 rebounds per game. He was shooting the ball at a high clip. This is all at 6'10", okay? And I bring it up because of the fact that he was playing lights out. Now, he got hurt. He came back. He was up and down this year. But to me, this is an all upside, no downside game for John Calipari because at worst, you got another 6'10" body who's super athletic, who's comfortable in the SEC. Listen, he's comfortable at Arkansas too. It's a different, what's the right word? It's a different group and coaching staff and whatever. So that part isn't as important to me, but he's comfortable in the SEC. He's played in this league. And at worst case scenario, you got an athlete to play 10, 12, 15 minutes per game, bang bodies, block shots, maybe hit a 3 every once in a while. But if it clicks, this kid, I still believe, has first round NBA draft potential. Now, going into his fourth year, major knee surgery, I don't know if he'll ever get there, and I don't think he will probably be a first round NBA draft pick. But if you get that kid playing like he was 2 years ago, 12 points per game, 38% three-point shooting at 6'10", that is absolutely insane. Now, to me, what is also interesting about this, and this is kind of the bigger question that I find fascinating, is that John Calipari is trying to do something very interesting and very unique. And that is, he might go into next season with 9 scholarship players. Okay. And as a quick backstory, as this portal era has evolved, it's worth noting that coaches have kind of scaled back. You used to fill all 13, you'd redshirt a guy, you'd have a freshman that you knew, 2-3 freshmen you knew weren't going to play, but they were going to be around. And as this portal thing has kind of come about, the kind of operating standard is you don't fill all 13. Most will fill at least 11, maybe 12, so you have an extra practice player or 2. But I have never heard of anything under 10. Because when you don't have 10 scholarship players, you know what that means? You can't run a full 5-on-5 practice. And I still think there's a possibility that John Calipari brings in, some really raw freshmen or, some role player maybe from the state of Arkansas that kind of understands that his role is going to be really limited just to fill out the back end of the bench. But as far as the top 9, I think it's as good as anybody in college basketball. Okay, so first of all, DJ Wagner's going to be the point guard. He was officially announced by the school right around the time that I left. Listen, I've done probably 30, maybe not 30, but 7-8 segments on DJ over the course of this spring. I love him. I love his game. I believe he got a bad rap at Kentucky, 9.9 points per game this year, and we've been through it. But he was playing really well early in the season. He was great against North Carolina. North Carolina was a 1 seed. He was great against Florida. Florida was an NCAA tournament team. And it just is really unfortunate for him that he got banged up in the middle of the year. And as he kind of came back, guess what happened? He came back at the same time that Reed Shepherd was ascending, that Rob Dillingham was ascending. And I know John Calipari didn't play them enough, whatever. But he was loyal to DJ. I still believe the best version of Kentucky in 2023 was when DJ was healthy and in those games. It allowed Reed Shepherd to play on and off the ball. It allowed Rob Dillingham to not have to play too much. So DJ Wagner's coming back. He'll be healthy. And then your other 2 guards. Maybe the best transfer in the portal, John L. Davis, All-American, 18 points per game at Florida Atlantic, and Boogie Flandin, McDonald's All-American. Your wings, while admittedly young, Carter Knox and Billy Richmond, both have NBA upside. Carter Knox was a McDonald's All-American. Billy Richmond's a top 20 prospect, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", play hard, crash the glass, whatever. Those guys are coming back. You also, on top of it, have Adu Thiero, who I think is more of a 4, but they'll probably try to play him at the 3. Emerging college star, 7-5 at Kentucky last year. I thought he was underused. And then you got the 3 up top in Big Z, Jonas Adu, and Trevon Brazile. Big Z, Trevon Brazile have proven they can hit threes. Jonas Adu, another guy that's played in the SEC, has experience, physicality, whatever. And so when I look at this roster, again, I know that no one that I'm aware of has ever actively chosen to go into the season with 9 scholarship players, but this is a really good group of players. And what stands out to me is a couple things. One, I actually sort of like how all the pieces fit. And I think John Calipari, let's criticize him for whatever. I think he learned his lessons from a season ago. Last offseason, what happened? He had 2 big guys get hurt, Agana Yenso and Aaron Bradshaw. And when he did, his front court was down to nobody. And he went out, he signed Trey Mitchell from West Virginia after the Bob Huggins incident in June. And then he signed Big Z late. And I just bring it up because by the time everything came together, by the time the season ended, he had 11 dudes on his roster that all wanted to play because a couple guys got healthy during the season. A couple guys got healthy later in the season. And what you had was a team that simply had too many guys and not enough spots. So I think Calipari, you can blame him for whatever. But he proved this offseason two things. He stuck to his word about focusing on the portal at least for one offseason. He said repeatedly, can't do it the way I was doing it. Can't bring in 5, 6, 7 freshmen every year. You need that balance of the portal kids, and you hope to get 2 or 3 elite freshmen, and you hope to get them playing their best late in March, but you do need to change. So he does that. And then I also think he learned that important lesson of you can't have too many guys. And it is, to me, this is what I would say. I would rather, if I was an Arkansas fan, seeing how things ended for him last year against Oakland, I would rather have him learn from his mistakes and maybe go into the season a guy short and hope everything works out. Okay, listen, by the time you get to March, you only want to be playing 7 or 8 anyway. So you go in, hopefully, he's got the right amount and can get through the season without anything catastrophic. But the counter to that is he also learned what you can't do. So I like Trevon Brazile. As I said, I think it is essentially zero downside. I don't really see, I really actually, to be honest, I actually don't see any real downside to the Trevon Brazile return. And so credit where it is to Coach Cal. Trevon Brazile is a Razorback.